Welcome into Tailgate Thursday for week number 13 of the 2025 football season. My name is David Morrison from the Ball Society, here to preview the upcoming college football games this weekend. We begin with our beloved Tennessee Volunteers, ranked number 20 in the college football playoff top 25, on the road at the Swamp, taking on the Florida Gators. 7:30 kickoff on ABC. This is a place Tennessee has not won at since 2003, and we hear a lot of jokes about that. But anywho, this game to me is going to come down to just the mental aspect. Who is going to overcome the obstacles and the woes? Obviously for Tennessee, recent turnovers, more with Joey Aguilar, quarterback. Can they overcome those issues? And of course, just the voodoo of the Swamp in general. Meanwhile, for the Gators, coming off a loss to Ole Miss, hang in there for a good 3 quarters, but just ran out of gas in the 4th quarter. Do they have enough to play up and try to knock off a Tennessee team, especially now with a 3-7 record? But we'll find out. It's a longtime rival, Tennessee, Florida, Saturday night. All right, noon on ABC. Number 22, Missouri, back in the top 25 poll. I guess they technically never left. But now has an opportunity to take on another top team. Oklahoma Sooners, number 8 in the CFP, top 25, noon on ABC. Oklahoma gets into the playoffs. They've been out the last couple of weeks. Now they're in the Ohio State slot from last year. Remember, Ohio State won the national title as the number 8 seed, so kind of been an important number now. But we'll see what happens. Oklahoma, big win against Alabama last week on the road, which propelled them into there. Meanwhile for Missouri, solid year for them. Can they, pick up one more big-time win before they get ready to take on Arkansas the next week? Which, not much of a challenge, but Missouri trying to at least capture one more big win before season's end. But we'll find out. Tigers and Sooners in an old Big 12 game that's now an SEC game. 3:30 ESPN, the 14th ranked Vanderbilt Commodores, Tennessee's opponent next week, takes on the Kentucky Wildcats from Nashville. This is, like I said, for Vanderbilt, just continuing to find ways to win. Only with 2 losses. And, of course, could Vanderbilt be looking ahead to Tennessee, which would be obviously next week's the biggest game really in their school history. A win over the Vols and Neyland would obviously pretty much lock them in the college football playoff. Meanwhile for Kentucky, playing better at 5-5, just need one more win to be bowl eligible. Cutter Boley has done a better job at quarterback. And Kentucky, like I said, they're just kind of finding ways to win. They knocked off an undefeated team last week in Tennessee Tech. But a nice solid, overall, like I said, Kentucky's playing a lot better towards the end of the stretch. But we'll see what happens as the Cats and the Doors meet Saturday afternoon. 3:30 on ABC. Arkansas Razorbacks heading to Austin to take on their old Southwest Conference rivals, the Texas Longhorns. Of course, these now teams are going to meet annually once the SEC goes to 9 games next year. For the most part, Texas, just after the tough loss to Georgia, now you're just kind of playing a solid bowl game at this point. That was their elimination game, and just a tough way to go out. Arts didn't play terrible in that game. It's just one of the running game got shut down. Kind of a very typical Tennessee-Georgia game in Athens, in my opinion, but different shade of orange, obviously. But now for Texas, you get this game, and then you have a chance to play spoiler with Texas A&M, which Texas A&M plays Sanford from the FCS level, who's 1-10, and Aggies are still undefeated. So, is the Longhorns looking ahead for that Aggies game on the day after Thanksgiving? Meanwhile, for Arkansas, you have this game, and then you get Missouri, which you get them at home for senior Saturday. But we'll see what happens as the Hogs and the Horns meet. All right, let's go across the nation now, because that's a lot of the other SEC games was against FCS opponents. But we start with the undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes. They take on Rutgers, 12 o'clock on Fox. Obviously getting ready for the big showdown with Michigan the next week. Ohio State, they're just continuing to win every time, every week. And can they finally go over that Michigan hump? We'll preview that game next week. But, are they looking ahead to Michigan? Rutgers is a team that can come up and bite some teams from time to time. But Ohio State's playing, obviously, like the number one team in the nation. So we'll see what happens, Knights and Buckeyes. 3:30 CBS. Another Big Ten game, but features Pac-10 teams. Why not? It's the Rose Bowl Conference. 15th ranked USC, 7th ranked Oregon. 3:30 on CBS. Lincoln Riley's name's been floating out there with some head coaching vacancies. So is that bringing a distraction? But or not? We'll find out. USC playing better. Moved up a couple of spots in the polls. Meanwhile for Oregon, hanging on for a college football playoff spot. The season ends today. They would host Alabama. I would like to see Alabama and Oregon play in a football game. It definitely probably been better when Nick Saban was there, but still, it should be a lot of fun. Caleb DeBoer taking on a team he's faced before. But we're not previewing Bama and Oregon. We're previewing USC and Oregon from Autzen Stadium. Should be fun. Kind of a throwback Pac-10 game in the Big Ten, which has 18 teams. Yeah, college football in 2025, but it's USC and Oregon. In the Big 12, TCU and number 23 Houston, 4 o'clock on Fox. Houston now in the top 25. Not really a threat to make the college football playoff, but just want to give them a shout out. Willie Fritz has done a nice job with this Cougars team. TCU not playing too bad themselves. Like I said, these teams usually put on a pretty high-scoring game and should be a lot of fun. I think this game is out on the Houston campus. I don't think this is at NRG Stadium, but I'm pretty sure it's on the campus. But we'll see what happens as the Frogs and the Cougars meet. ACC action, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Georgia Tech, 16th ranked, taking on Pitt. Pitt Panthers, man, took that loss to Notre Dame. Tough loss. But still not a bad team at all. Georgia Tech, getting ready for their showdown with Georgia at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on the day after Thanksgiving. We'll see if they're kind of looking ahead. I'm very curious to see if some of these teams are kind of looking ahead for these big rivalry games next week. That's going to be kind of the story going in. Who's, peeking ahead, but we'll find out in this one as the Panthers and the Yellow Jackets meet. And then finally, 8 o'clock on Fox, Cincinnati Bearcats welcoming in BYU, 11th ranked. BYU, first team out of the playoffs. Utah, their rivals, is the second team. It's been the Big 12 has been very fascinating to watch this season. But hey, the Bearcats have had a nice year, even though they're not ranked. A lot better second season with Scott Satterfield as their coach. Brendan Sorcy's been a nice quarterback for them, and meanwhile for BYU and Caden Salaki and company doing a nice job and trying to get to Dallas for the Big 12 championship game. I'm not sure who BYU is playing next week. They already played Utah in their big rivalry game. It's probably something like UCF or something crazy like that. But anyways, we'll find out all together next week. But it is the Cougars and the Bearcats coming up Saturday. But that's going to wrap it up for Tailgate Thursday. Rivalry weeks next week. A lot of big games, a lot of playoff spots. Still be determined. Some conference championships for grabs, rivalry trophies. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And we'll hope to and we're looking forward to previewing that next week, Lord willing. But until next time, this is David Morrison. For Tailgate Thursday, as always, enjoy.